Welcome back to Community Conversations. I hope you're all having a great summer, surviving the heat. We have this heat wave that's just ending, and maybe it has you thinking about your fall plans. It's not too early here in mid-July to start thinking about what you're going to be doing coming up here in the fall. And with that in mind, we love having this next guest here in the studio for maybe the fourth or fifth time. We have OLLI here, which is the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, and I'm glad to have with me Tori Berube, program manager here at OLLI, and Mike Baker. You are an OLLI member, volunteer, presenter. We were saying off camera how OLLI members do everything, and Mike, you seem like a great example of that. Welcome both of you, and thanks for coming in, taking some time during your summer relaxing to come into the studio.
Thanks for having us. We're glad to be here.
So let's back up for a second. A lot of people may be familiar with OLLI, which I believe here in New Hampshire in its 20th year, but remind us, sort of just give us the sort of overview, Tori, if you could, of what OLLI is.
So OLLI stands for Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, and it is enrichment learning for older adults. Typically we say 50 and older, but we aren't checking IDs at the door. So for older adults who would like to come and learn in a very relaxed and comfortable setting, things of interest to them. So it might be things that they didn't study in high school or college, or a passion they've had for a very long time and they'd like to explore. Or it might be someone who's very interested in literature and they want to take one of Mike's classes, or they like to be active and participate in being outside and walking all of the great trails and outside activities here in the capital area. So it's a great way of keeping our older adults engaged, learning, meeting others, and benefiting from some really tremendous courses.
Yeah, a lot of great courses, which I have the program guide right here and was just flipping through. It's impressive how many are available here coming up in the fall. But let's turn over to Mike for a second here. How did you first get involved? Or what I found meeting other OLLI members is there, there's these great stories. No pressure, it doesn't have to be anything but there's always, people always seem to look back fondly on how they got involved with OLLI.
Well, before I became a presenter, I was a member, and we moved to this greater area in 2008, not knowing one single soul, and discovered OLLI, and now some of our dearest friends are members of the OLLI program. In 2011, I started teaching in the OLLI program and have been ever since.
So OLLI was a great opportunity for coming from out of state to meet people. Which
Absolutely.
It's really, really hard to meet people. I always say, you have your friends or your social group, your family that you know. It can be hard to branch out.
Yeah, and we moved here as seniors, and so we didn't have that opportunity of meeting people through our children, through schools and things like that. Right. And so this was a wonderful opportunity to get to know people our own age, and to also have the extra benefit or the bonus there of taking classes.
Right, and so you had mentioned that in 2011 you started teaching classes, and I think, Tori, you had said literature. Could you give us a few examples, or if, a specific one coming up, give us an idea of what one of your classes entails?
Well, I just completed a course on Arthur Miller. I called it Arthur Miller, Playwright with a Conscience. And so we worked with those plays of his which did have social engagement involved in them. Had a class of about 20 students in that group. But the wonderful thing about teaching literature now with this age group is they bring so much experience to it. My career was teaching English to college students and high school students who bring as much as they're wonderful. They bring very little in life experience to this, but when you're dealing with people who've had all walks of life, who've had such great rich experiences, they bring so much to the program itself. And this particular class that I'm talking about, the Miller class, was followed by another class, or else we'd still be there after the class, because they were so engaged. And the beauty of that, unlike past experiences perhaps, these classes are filled with people who, A, have read every single thing that was necessary for the class. They want to engage in discussion, and best of all, they simply want to be there.
The best part, the other best part, is that all of our OLLI classes, there are no tests, there are no homeworks, there's no quizzes, so you're really coming just for the love of learning.
Yep.
So Mike mentioned, you know, he's got 20 students who came to this class religiously for 6 weeks, and they just came because they wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And that's the benefit of OLLI.
So many of the members of OLLI have been in the professions and whatnot, and could only dedicate their education to whatever specific field, whether that's law or whether it was engineering or whatever. Many of them, and they've always wanted to be able to take classes in painting and drawing and literature particularly, and so they're eager to participate in those classes.
Yeah, and these learning opportunities, I mean, a lot of these are multi-week commitments, but otherwise it seems, you know, it's low stakes also. Low pressure, you mentioned no tests. People don't like having to sit there and take multiple choice tests, or it seems very low pressure that it's fun, you're learning, you're getting a lot of information, but it seems such a low pressure, low stakes.
So Mike's class I mentioned was 6 weeks, but for this term coming up, we have about 170 courses that we're offering throughout the state and on Zoom, and 85% of them are 1 or 2 week courses. So you come, you learn for 3 or 4 or 4 or 5 hours, and that's the class.
I love that. That's great.
And very few of them, probably less than 5% of them this term, are on that longer spectrum of 6 or 7 or 8 week courses. So it's a snapshot in time.
Yep.
Come and learn quickly, absorb, share, collaborate, and then the class is done and you move on to your next class.
Yeah. Now, you had sort of alluded to this about with Zoom and about across the state, that the classes take place in various places across New Hampshire, whether it's Concord, or I saw, you know, some things happening out in Portsmouth or North Conway. You also mentioned Zoom. Could you maybe just go into a little bit, Tori, just about kind of in general with the locations and how all that works?
So we have 4 learning regions in the state, here in the Capital Region, in Greater Manchester, up in North Conway, and out on the seacoast where we do have a classroom setting. And about 65% of our classes are generally in a classroom. Let's call it 60. We do offer Zoom courses for those who would like to stay home and have a cup of coffee and perhaps wear their slippers while they attend class. And then we have a variety of classes that are out in the community. So our members are out on a hiking trail with a guide and learning about a specific trail, or they're visiting someplace like this upcoming term will be at the New Hampshire State Library.
Yep.
And at the State House with guided tours, so they're out in the community.
Yep.
We'll be up with Lori Carey at her shop in Pennacook, doing a floral design class. So not only are you learning in a classroom setting with Mike, but you could be anywhere out in the community in our 4 learning regions doing something, or you're at home on a Zoom course. So plenty and a plethora of ways you can learn with OLLI.
And if it fits into your schedule, you can sign up for multiple classes in a semester, right? So you could be doing a tour, you could be doing a Zoom session, you could be doing a film class that I saw in here, or I saw one that Paul Brogan's doing about nuns in film or something like that. We love Paul, he's fantastic.
Yes.
And just to give a plug to the State House tours, Virginia Drew, who does the tours over there, is phenomenal. Their team is great. The State House tour is like, any chance to go do that, people should take advantage of that.
She did a class this previous term on sort of just a high-level New Hampshire politics class and what happens within those four walls at the State House and how does the State House operate. And the class was full. And these are people like Mike who may have moved to this area and have never walked the halls of the State House and are thinking that would be fun. So lots of opportunities to get out there, whether it be in the classroom, be out in the community, or staying home and participating online.
Yeah, that's great. So, and I just wanted to just mention, you know, we can't go through and talk about every single course, but looking through, they're really interesting, that folks can go over to unh.edu/OLLI, and we'll show the link. Really easy to go on. I'm holding a paper copy. You have these available as well, the paper copies.
Sure, folks can call us and we'd be happy to send one.
When does registration start for the fall semester?
So it opens at 9 o'clock on Monday, August 5th. It's a very popular day in OLLI with course registration.
It reminds me of college registration.
It is. It's exactly like that. So our members are logged in and ready to open their cart at 9 o'clock on that Monday morning. And if folks aren't comfortable using a computer, we do have a paper registration form that's in the catalog or on our website. Or they can do it the old-fashioned way, and they can simply call us, and we're happy to register them over the phone. Yep, and that's the right form.
So I held up the right. If I held up the wrong one, you'd have to like rip it out of my hand.
No, you did
that's
just
the right one. So it's nice that folks can. There's a couple different ways to register. Like for me, my perspective online, I love that you could just, you know, refresh your browser at 9 a.m. and start filling the card up. But it's nice to have other options for people.
Well, and you mentioned the nice thing is for our members who register at 9 o'clock on that day, or any time actually, what we love is we see the diversity of what our members sign up for. So some sign up for one class, and some sign up for perhaps every films class we offer or every history class. So some come and do 1 or 2 courses a semester, which is wonderful, and some will do 9 or 10 or 11 courses because they keep flipping through the catalog and say, I like that one, and I like that one, and I like that one.
So it helps you learn about your audience too.
It does. It does. We can certainly see trends on, we know our courses, and we know that literature and film are very popular courses, but by far, our OLLI members really love their history courses.
And civics courses have become very popular.
Yeah. What are you've taken you've been a member. Are there classes, Mike, that stood out to you over the years that were really, you know, impactful or that stood out to you?
You mentioned Paul Brogan, and I'm a Roe Brogan fan, so I try to take every one of his courses that are offered. But no, and I'm a history buff, so our audience, our members are very, very much involved with history programs. So they're very popular. And so taking courses on the Holocaust and Irish history, etc. It's been very nice. One of the things we haven't mentioned here is last Sunday we were on what was called OLLI on the Road, and we went to Peterborough to the Peterborough Players. But before that, we had lunch with a group, with all of us, and someone mentioned at the time, did you know that all the presenters give their time? They're volunteers. No one is paid to present the classes. It seemed that almost no one knew that was in the group, and I had to chuckle because I said, hey, I'd pay them because I've enjoyed the program so much. So
that's a good point there too, Mike. That you're not, the instructors are volunteering their time. So not only are the participants there because they're passionate, the instructors are there because they're passionate.
Yeah.
And our instructors. One of the classes we're doing this term is a gentleman who's just moved to the area and found out about us, and he worked for Amazon. And he said, I'd like to do a class on how the heck does Amazon deliver next day?
How does it work?
How does that work? So
Yep.
he put together a course that he's offering this term on how does Amazon do next day delivery, and he's got statistics and how does this piece of equipment do that, and what's behind the scenes that you don't know about. And that's the type of, he's recently retired, he wanted to share his passion, his experience, and with others, and that's those are the folks who teach for us. So some are former educators like Mike. We have some wonderful former librarians who teach for us. One of a woman who's a retired librarian is one of our most popular instructors, and she teaches different history courses each term. So here in Concord for the upcoming term, she's doing a course on Samuel Sewall, but she also is doing a class in Manchester on the Boston Massacre.
Yep.
And she did a course on Lewis Hayden, who was very active in the Underground Railroad. And these are all just things that are of interest to her. So she takes the time to do the research, prepare the course, and then come and present the course, because these are all things that are of interest to her.
Yeah.
And actually, we did a class together with the same individuals on Hawthorne. She did obviously the biography of the man and the times, and I did the literature from that. So it was a very popular course.
That's a really good way to split it up, the history of the person, but also then the work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've kind of alluded to, we talked a lot about some of the topics, but I looked through the brochure and I saw that there's topics in music, history. I'm going to list some of these off.
Yeah.
Personal health and wellness, art and humanities, nature, math and science, civics, you get walking tours. I mean, that is a full encompassing of life topics, right? I mean, it's just very impressive when I look through. Those are just the categories, and that there's many classes that fit within each of those categories.
So if you think about our population, older adults,
Yep.
some of the things that they are interested in, besides all of those things that you mentioned, and you did mention health. So this term we have a couple of courses on hearing and hearing loss, preparing as you move forward in life. What are the things that you should be thinking about? We have courses on exercising, basic exercises, things to keep you mobile, to keep you balanced, to keep you healthy in your own home. So there's lots of these wide variety of courses depending on what's of interest to you and to that population.
So hopefully folks are getting lots of ideas here about the types of classes. Obviously they could be going online right now. Even though registration isn't until August 5th, you can look at all the available classes and start preparing what you think you want to be taking. So hopefully folks are getting lots of ideas here. Again, the website is unh.edu with the /OLLI. I'm sure you could Google search it and track it down as well. I assume there's no third-party imitators of OLLI, or we get that issue with a lot of our performance venues. There's no fake sites out there that are...
No.
Okay.
So we are one of 124 OLLIs around the country.
Yep.
And UNH is our host institution. Every OLLI in the country is tied to a college or university. So we are part of UNH.
So a plug for UNH as well. They're terrific partners.
So we all like to think we're wildcats.
You are. You're wildcats. Yeah, that's right, Tori. Yeah. So this has been terrific. Was there anything else that you wanted to plug or mention? Oh, I usually ask our volunteer instructor representatives, Mike, what would you say to a peer or someone you know who hasn't taken part in OLLI? They likely have heard of it, but what would you say to convince them to become a member?
Well, I have done this a good deal. I guess we all become evangelists for this program who are involved in it. But I think that what I would suggest is that it would be impossible to go through that catalog and to walk away from it and to say, I didn't see anything other than any of interest. And I know that when I've passed on the catalog to my to some friends, they've looked at it and they said, "My God, it was the other way around. I was putting a check mark on every course in the catalog because there is such a variety." And so I think that's what I would think of that as one of the key real advantages of the program.
Yeah.
Another advantage, real quick, that we didn't speak of, but Mike alluded to, is that it's not only courses that we offer, but we offer travel trips. So Mike mentioned on Sunday there was a group that went to the Peterborough Players. We've recently had a group that went to the JFK Museum in Boston. This fall we'll be taking a trip to Portland, Maine, to the Art Museum. We have special interest groups. So these are organizations or groups of OLLI members that meet on a regular basis and pursue a topic that they're interested in. You had mentioned Marty Bender had been here before, and Marty leads our movie club here, and it's actually statewide. So if you've got an affection for movies and you like to talk movies, once a week Marty invites you to talk about movies. We have hiking clubs, we have snowshoeing clubs, we have craft clubs, we have book clubs. In fact, we have 3 of them, and Mike leads a book club on Zoom. So whether you are in Concord or you're in Conway, you are welcome to join Mike's book club.
There we go.
So lots of ancillary activities around the courses, but they're all designed to support lifelong learning, social engagement, having fun, and learning something new.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And we have to, before we go, we have to, I don't think we've said the slogan or the catchphrase. What's the catchphrase or the slogan?
Come for the classes and stay for the friends.
There we go. I think we hadn't said it yet, so there we go.
Yes.
We said it.
Yes.
Well, this has been great. Thank you, Mike and Tori.
Yes.
Thanks for coming in. Always great to see you and great to talk about OLLI. So again, for our audience, unh.edu/OLLI. We'll have the website up. I'm sure you can reach out to Tori and her team if you have any questions. It's a great opportunity to learn and to make friends, and a great way to get your fall started. So this has been a great episode. Went by fast. Thank you guys, and thanks for watching.
Josh.
And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.